Hey guys, Daniel Vining from DanielVining.com here talking about Tony Stewart's decision to retire after the 2016 season from NASCAR Sprint Cup Series competition. I don't know where really to begin other than, wow, what an interesting year this has been. It's not really that much of a surprise if you ask me. It's kind of expected with the way things have gone for him in the last two and a half years. It started with the 2013 incident breaking his leg, and he missed races for that. And then you fast forward to last year with the Kevin Ward Jr. incident, and then he missed the next 3 races after that, dealing with that. And then the threat of legal action being taken, and then later dismissed, and now civil action being taken against him with the wrongful death suit coming from the Ward family. You add to the fact that this year has not been his year. I'm sure that having those incidents weighing on his mind hasn't helped matters at all, but the performance from the number 14 Stewart Haas Chevrolet has just not been there. It's always a surprise when something like this happens, but it's not unexpected. Stewart announced today that he will be finishing out his career in the 14 Chevy next year, and then the following season, 2017, Clint Bowyer is going to be going into his ride. Tony Stewart said during his press conference that this was 100% his call, and there was no other factors that helped, spur this on, other than he felt it was just the right time to make this change. And you could read between the lines, and he's going to say that the Kevin Ward Jr. situation and his leg situation were not factors, but I mean it's pretty obvious that they were. And on top of that, I think he's just not happy in NASCAR. I think it's a job for him. I do think he has enjoyed his time in NASCAR, but I think that time of enjoyment has dwindled down to where now it's time to change into a different role. And that's being the owner of Stewart Haas Racing next to Gene Haas. And that is something that has taken me by surprise. In 2009, he took a team that was a also ran, and with his presence and his ability to draw sponsorship and his experience as a former champion, was able to take that team from an also-ran to a super team in just no time flat. 2011, Tony Stewart got his 3rd championship, and he's going for his 4th championship in 2016. Last year, Kevin Harvick won Stewart Haas Racing's 2nd NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship, and this year, although he has a tough road to climb, Harvick is in the running to go back-to-back. So there's a lot of things going for Stewart that tend to make me think that it's time for him to make the change and go play and go do the things that he enjoys. He'll still have his job being the owner of Stewart Haas Racing, and he'll still have a large involvement in NASCAR, but now he can do things his way. He'll have his ownership duties, but if he wants to go race a late model in Indiana somewhere, in Winchester, he can. If he wants to come down here to Pensacola, Florida, and try to pick up that Tom Dawson Trophy and win the Snowball Derby, he can. He mentioned during his press conference that one clear example of him being able to race now that he's going to be freed up will be the New Hampshire events with the modifieds. So we'll get to see Tony Stewart in a NASCAR modified. I think that's going to be pretty awesome. He was asked point blank about whether or not he was going to ever attempt to race the Indianapolis 500 again, and he emphatically said no. So no more Indy 500s for Tony Stewart. However, he didn't say that he would never get in an IndyCar again, so who knows what opportunities may lay. He also jokingly mentioned before he opened up the Florida questions that the previous day's announcement with Romain Grosjean being the first driver with Haas Formula One, that Tony Stewart would be the second driver. And I'm pretty sure that everybody gets the joke that that's not going to happen. But I wouldn't put it past him to get behind the wheel of that Formula One car at some point in a test just to get the feel. So more than likely, we're going to see Tony Stewart behind the wheel of a race car for many years to come. And we're going to see him a lot happier. He owns a sprint car series. He owns a couple racetracks. So, of course, everybody knows he owns Eldora, which hosts the Mud Summer Classic. And I think that the future is bright for Tony Stewart as he closes this chapter. And other than the fact that we're not going to see his face behind, we're not going to see him behind the wheel of the race car anymore, I don't think we're going to miss him at all, because he's going to be there. My question for you, though, is what do you think the legacy will be that Tony Stewart has left behind? What do you think how do you feel like he left his mark in NASCAR? I think his legacy will be his attitude. He was a hard-nosed driver that didn't take any crap from anybody and didn't care. He could race anything, anytime, anywhere, and he could win. He won in sprint cars, he won in USAC, he won in IndyCar, and of course he won in NASCAR. So he was an all-around, well-rounded driver with the likes of AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti, and I think he could do it like no other. So my question to you is, what do you think Tony Stewart's legacy will be? Leave the comments below. Hit me up on Twitter @DanielVining, and check out my website, danielvining.com, and we'll see you next go round. Peace.